people ask me if I'm disappointed with the season. Of course I'm disappointed. We all are. You know, we wished we had finished better and had a better record. But having said that, I'm incredibly optimistic about the future. My optimism starts with, you know, some things that you all can't see, what's going on off the ice in our front office and our coaching staff. I think John and his staff, notwithstanding our record, did an excellent job developing players, creating a young core, creating a culture, creating a group of players that care, that want to win. And then, as importantly, I'm incredibly optimistic and excited about continuing to work with Ray. Ray is what you all don't see is we're investing across the board in every area, whether it be in having more putting more scouting out there, hiring analytics people, hiring sports science people, and you know that's how you ultimately build a winner. You got to start with excellence off the ice, and then you ultimately get it on the ice. We're committed to Ray and committed to the strategy, and as such, we extended Ray to a multi-year deal post the season. As you know, we extended John interseason. We have an incredible young core led by Nico and Jasper. Taylor's getting better. Our goaltending improved at the end of the season. And look, there are no shortcuts to the top. There's only shortcuts to the middle, and you know we're going to build this brick by brick, and ultimately, you know, kind of get where we need to be, which is an elite team competing for the Stanley Cup. To the New Jersey fans, I want to say thank you. You're passionate, you're smart, you hold us accountable, but I think thank you for bearing with us, and thank you for your trust, and like we're not going to let you down.
Just from my standpoint, I want to thank Josh Harris and David Blitzer for their support back on May 4th, actually 2015, and to the contract extension, and believing in myself and John Hines and what we set out to do, and what Josh just said is what he said a few days after I was hired, his media conference, and he talked about no shortcuts. And I say this all the time, and you know, belief in staying here, belief in coming here. I say this all the time, and people know this. What I talk about is that I came because of spending so much time with Josh and David through the process before I was hired, and what Lou Lamoriello had said about them, and that is what we sell, and that's my belief in Josh and David. And I share in the disappointment of the season, and Josh, you know, and David, they're fans first, and they love the sport. They love how the team did last year. But they also like, you know, helping build this and giving all of us that foundation off ice to become a long-term team that with the potential and a plan and a vision. We talk about it when it kind of goes off the rails a bit this year, and whether there's certain things that happen, but I say all the time, and I said this mid-year, that you know what we set out to do when things don't go as well as planned, that when you deviate from a plan based on that, or emotionally, or react to what people might say, then I don't believe you ever had a plan in the first place. And that's one thing with Josh and David. They have a plan. I believe in it, and that's why I came. And the disappointment's real, disappointment from our fan standpoint, because of not just the record, but I think because of the optimism after last year. And I talk about this a lot, and Josh and David and you, Weber, Scott O'Neill, they know this, that I'm disappointed, but 2 years ago when we sat there and did this, I was disappointed. I don't know how many adjectives, I don't even know how many I might know, but they were all of them, because it wasn't where we wanted to be. And not just record-wise, it was everything. And the disappointment this year at the end is real. But I feel so much more optimistic because of the plan that was in place, that we followed and stayed by, and build a foundation, which eventually you talk about becomes somewhat of a culture. But as I also say all the time, culture is a word in the dictionary until you feel it. And last year in September, October is when I felt that. And the way the team played, I owe credit to John Hines and his coaching staff and our players. you look back 2 years ago, the record is disappointing. 2 years ago, the record's everything else was disappointing. Our play, and people can remember how I was really disappointed myself, and you know, through the support of Josh David and, you know, our staff, we obviously, some of our draft picks came through, some of our that we had drafted, and you know, son, a guy like Butcher, we're bad enough to get lucky to get the first overall pick, get Nico. Taylor Hall comes back and has an MVP season. Injuries were relatively pretty good, except at the start. But this year, what could go wrong did go wrong. But I go back to the fact that with the plan that we have in place, and I think I saw a few guys said about our effort, you know, not many, to be outworked, we gave teams a lot they can handle, and we traded veteran players at the end, and, you know, obviously where we were, that was the thing to do, but that is about culture, that's about coaching, that's about belief, and to go from the oldest team in the league, or maybe the second youngest or whatever it is, that's not exactly a goal, but I know the goal is not to have the oldest team. And, you know, this is the most optimistic, well, last year was optimistic, but this year, of course, the disappointment is followed by my optimism for the future and what we have and what we built, and I think our players feel that too. And you know, I'll say that with these younger players and the development we have in place with development coaches and our scouting and sports science, and we talk about this investing off ice in that athlete care and analytics, and it's something in the long term is how you get ahead. And we're very fortunate to have that support from Josh and David. And so I echo what Josh and David said about our fans. Thanks for sticking with us, and, you know, believe in us. I think we have a good thing in place. But as I do know, we need more talent. And what we did at the deadline is a way to do that. We'll try 10 draft picks, and hopefully things go well tomorrow night. But we have 3 second-round picks and 2/3 and so forth. But we do need more talent, and we're well positioned now to take advantage of that, whether it's through trades or if there's something in free agency, for sure. And we've talked about this with our management partners, Josh, David, and where we go. And we always said there's a time. Well, it's getting to be closer to that, but it wasn't 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe not even last summer. But they've always been, if it's there, for sure. But now we finally have something. We're moving forward finally, and it's hard to say that when what are we, third last? But it's just a different feeling to me, and it's okay to be disappointed. I am, and I know our fans are, but it's a different type to me, and there's an optimism that I have, and you know, when I talked to Taylor for the middle of it today, and it's like with anything. When we sit down with Taylor, the first thing I'm selling is because I bought it. I sell Josh and David and what they're about, and that's with anybody else that we talk about. And anyway, thank you to Josh and David, and certainly thank you for covering us this season. And we'll have, you know, open up for questions. But just a thank you to Josh and David for their belief in me. And I'm going to get to the questions. And again, Josh said we won't let you down, and we won't let you down, Josh and David. So how's that? Thank you, by the way.